What is up, bros? Me, Josh here, bringing you a quick video on the Tier 5 German battleship, the Konig. I love this ship. Tier 5, I think it's amazing. It's super, super strong. I call it a keeper ship. In my opinion, this is the best Tier 5 battleship in the game as well. I'm sorry, Congo. I'm sorry, Texas. I'm sorry, New York. This, in my opinion, is the best Tier 5 battleship. Now, it does lack in some situations where we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think it makes up for it. I really, really enjoyed this ship a lot. Had a blast with it. Was scoring an insane amount of damage. In one game we had 170 some thousand damage. It's amazing. I really, really do enjoy this ship. I think you guys will too. And in the comments below, let me know how you guys' games have been in the Konig. And kind of let's dive into it. The Konig is rocking 47,100 life, so it's a pretty decent health pool for a Tier 5 battleship. The armor is kind of the interesting part, 19 millimeters to 350 millimeters. And one thing I was really noticing is, especially with this entire line, is that you're not taking that big citadel damage. You're taking high alpha damage, where like even if you're getting hit with it, I mean, you're going to take damage almost no matter what. You will bounce stuff if it's hitting your bow and everything, but this doesn't get that big broadside hit that if you were in a Congo or in a New York or whatever, you would get punished a lot more. And I'm not really seeing that with the German line. I'm seeing you can be a bit more aggressive with your angles. Yeah, you're going to take that big hit every once in a while, but it's not going to be like a Citadel hit. It's just going to be like that 10K, 12K hit, and you can kind of recover from it. I wasn't really seeing it, and I'm really liking that line. You can be a bit more aggressive, maybe give a full broadside to finish off a ship, and he hits you for a little bit extra, but it's not a Citadel, so it's not super deadly. I'm really liking that part of the line where you can be more aggressive, and this has been a lot of fun. Torpedo protection, 24%, so that's okay. It's kind of in that line. German battleships aren't taking that torpedoes very well, but not really any ship is. I wasn't having as bad of a problem because the secondary range and all this is kind of good on this ship, so you were able, Tier 5 is kind of that weird one where you're only dealing with like a Minikaze or a Kamikaze with long-range torpedoes. Other than that, everything's going to kind of give you a decent heads up. I mean, you're definitely seeing it with aircraft carriers as well. This is kind of the first ship that you're seeing a lot more AA on this ship, and it's actually been kind of okay against aircraft carriers as well. Main battery, now still relatively small size guns at 305s, but they're really not that bad. And this is one thing I think that people are really not liking about this ship, that if they do not like this ship, this is one of the reasons why. You weren't getting that massive multi-citadel hit. You saw it with the Kaiser, you saw it with the Nassau. You weren't getting that massive hit, but you were knocking big hits, let's say like that 10, 12, 15K salvo really, really quickly at a 26-second reload. So decent turn radius on the gun, 60 seconds. Max dispersion, 207. So I thought it was relatively accurate. I think the Kaiser's right about there too. I thought the guns were actually pretty accurate, a pretty big improvement over the Kaiser going to the Koning. 3,500 HE damage for HE shells, 23% fire chance, so not too bad, but 8,400 AP damage, and a 16-kilometer firing range. The two downsides, smaller caliber guns compared to other stuff, and mainly the firing range, 16 kilometers. So, a Congo can pick on you at whatever 19K it can shoot at, but really, those are the only two downsides, in my opinion, for the ship. At a Tier 5 battleship, I really think it's the range that is bugging people, maybe the dispersion, and the lower calibers. I wasn't getting too many citadels on battleships. They'd have to be like a Tier 3 or Tier 4. Other than that, though, you were wrecking cruisers, wrecking destroyers, and kind of wrecking battleships because you could fire so quick, angle, before, I mean, because of the time-wise, if a battleship is shooting, you have the time to get an aggressive angle, fire your salvo, and get enough time to turn back so he's firing at an unfavorable advantage for him, an unfavorable angle. So I'm liking that about the ship. I thought it was very fun. It was a good brawler. I mean, when you get close, you can do those big hits, but this ship has been a lot of fun for me. So 16-kilometer range, kind of a downside, but the rate of fire is really good. I thought the damage output was amazing. AA for this ship, and this is without a captain, of course, was pretty solid. I was shooting down some planes. I think you can get up to 40-something AA rating for a Tier 5. That's pretty solid. I think you're right up there with one of the best. I mean, outside, of course, the Texas. Really, really solid AA for a battleship of this tier. Maximum speed, 24 knots. Turning radius, 620 meters. And rotor shift, 13.2 seconds. So relatively quick rotor shift. And detectability by sea, 14.1, and by planes, 10.6. On the upgrades, I ran Main armament mod 1, so to help it with keeping the main guns alive a little bit longer. I ran the aiming system mod 1, so dispersion of main battery shells, as well as secondary, and then I ran damage control mod 1. Now, I really loved playing this ship. I had a really fun time playing with it. We got through it relatively quickly because of how fast it went, and this ship, I think, is definitely a keeper. Like I said, in my opinion, I think this is the best Tier 5 battleship. The downside is the range, but the upside is the damage output. It's lacking the big hit. I know when you get into the Bayern, it's going to hit a bit harder, but this ship was a blast to play. You could shoot so fast for a battleship, pump out that damage. The AA was good. The secondaries were fun. The secondary range was 4.7, so with AFT you're going to be rocking like 6 almost 6, and that's pretty deadly. I was having a blast. It was a really fun brawler because of the secondaries too. There's lots of secondary guns on this ship. This is a really fun part of this line. The only downside I was seeing is, if he got unlucky and was taking a bunch of torps, that was mainly the only time I was having problems. I was up tiering very well with this ship, going against some higher tier ships that, of course, would outgun you. But I felt very comfortable being in the Konig because you don't take that citadel damage that you would, let's say, in the Congo or the New York or something like that. I feel like this ship up tiers very well. I feel like going against the big boys and the big ships. Yes, they're very scary, and you will take that high alpha damage. I think that's something you just have to accept in this line, the normal pen damage. But really, this ship and this line so far has been a blast. I'm really liking it. The Nassau was an okay tier 3. The Kaiser I thought was an okay tier 4. This has been the first ship that I think is just a blast to play. I had insane games with it, very consistent. The only time I was not doing a lot of damage is just if my team was winning too quickly. It's another one of those ships that you just need to keep firing, really. And 26-second reload, relatively accurate. Getting in and out. Like I said, this thing brawls like a beast. It kills cruisers like a monster. The secondary is really helping me with destroyers as well, especially USN and Russian that can't have the real long torpedo range that you can kind of engage them a bit farther out. I don't know. It's people are not liking it because of the firing range and maybe the dispersion, but I think this ship is awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying playing this ship. Really excited for what else this line has to hold, and really excited to keep this ship and play it in the future. And so next review will be on the Bayern, guys. So let me know how your journey has been up through the battleships so far for the German line. The Konig, let me know how you guys are enjoying or not even liking the Konig and what you think is wrong with the Konig. I think it's an amazing ship. I'm excited to keep it in my. I'll probably get rid of the Kaiser and rid of the Nassau, but I'm going to keep this ship for sure. I think it's awesome, and it was a blast to play, and I'm excited to keep playing it. So let me know in the comments below how you guys are liking the Konig, the German line, and how your games are going. This has been it for me, guys. Enjoy your games. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time.